All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. All right, we are here today. Yeah, interesting conversation we got going on in our Discord or in the chat before I started the stream up. We'll talk about it. Hold on, I got an echo. There we go. Let me fix that. Um, and yeah, so just so I could like respond, it's gonna be easier for me to type this out. We're definitely getting bearish action, right? Like that's not a shock, but I think we have to take it in like into context of everything else. Like I think if you look at this trend that we've had over the past year, we're looking pretty trendy here. I don't think it's time to like label this an end of the world pullback. And I think a pullback is kind of necessary. Like you heard me, I've been saying that I think we pull back into next year. Or next year, I really said, if I'm being completely honest. And we might be pulling back a little bit earlier than I thought. But at this point, it's still a 2 to 3% pullback, right? And what I said remains true, that people thinking that we're going to crash during an election are getting manipulated by politics, right? People who think that we're going to have some big brutal move on election years are getting too wrapped up in politics, right? And because at this point, the year's almost over, we're certainly not crashing yet. And I think we have to take this move into context. If you watch the short I published before the Fed meeting, one of the things I said during that short was that the Fed meeting was coming up, the market's up big, and we could go up big from this FOMC meeting or down big, right? So I gave the expectation that both could happen. It wasn't just the upside, I think people take it like, people look at the title of my stream sometimes and they see me title it, "Oh, a Santa rally is coming?" ? Like asking that question. And honestly, a lot of people would consider what we had a Santa rally already, but I'm certainly not saying anything's going to happen. Like one of the overarching themes of my content in general is I have no freaking idea what's going to happen. No freaking idea. The only thing I criticize regularly is people desperately labeling every 1 to 2% pullback a crash. Because they want to be right. And again, I think that's still going on here. And maybe this is the start of one, but we're certainly not in a crash yet. We're certainly nowhere close to that yet. And this is just normal pullbacks after breaking highs after highs after highs for weeks. We're not going to keep breaking highs over and over again. Like that's not a reasonable expectation for markets. And I think it's important for people to realize that, like, I've seen crashes over-predicted for 7 years now. Eventually, they're going to be right, and we are eventually going to crash. And again, if you guys listened to me over the last 2 weeks, I told people over and over again, I think we might correct next year. Maybe it's happening earlier than expected. I don't know. But it's not there yet, and we'll have to wait and see, and maybe it does. Yeah, it's the Krampus rally instead, they say. Hey, what's up, Beach Mom? Good morning, good morning. Who said the housing market can't crash? I certainly never said the housing market can't crash. I certainly have never said the housing market could never crash. That's a silly take. In 2008, it crashed. Obviously crashed, like heavily. The housing market, honestly, I would argue is inevitably going to crash every 10, 12 years. But in general, it's going to go up regardless. Very similar to like stocks, right? Like it's going to crash every little while, but over the long run, it's going up. House prices are going to rise. And to be honest, I just bought an investment property. And so I have a little bit of bias in wanting prices to go up. But even though I have that bias, I also understand that housing prices correcting might not be the worst thing to ever happen either, because like they need to come back down to earth a little bit too, realistically. Like if we look at it objectively, house prices need to come back to earth, rent needs to come down a little bit, and I think that's going to solve a lot of people's woes if they do. But anyways, here's the SPY. Here's the current trend. Are we looking good? No. Are we outside this trend yet? No. We're still in this upward trend so far on a daily chart. And we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. All we can do is wait and see. Inflation data, I think, because of this bearish action, is even more important. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Nvidia also down today too. So definitely getting some bear action for sure. Is the music loud? I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me fix it. There we go. I can turn it down. Let me know if it's too loud. If it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it down. Can you look at Bitcoin? What's your guess? Will it stop at 70, 80? I told you guys last week. I think Bitcoin consolidates in the 90s for a little while. Right? Do you guys remember me telling you this? I think Bitcoin pulls back, consolidates in the 90s for a little while. I think it broke 100K. I think it's going to pull back and stay in the 90s for a little bit. You know, this is something, and again, anybody that watches the stream, not everybody, I'm not sure how many times I said that, but I know I've said it multiple times, that I think Bitcoin might pull back, consolidate in the 90s for an extended period of time, is what I think. Because, like, you got to think, so it broke a psychological level, and then it dipped back down. And then people who are, like, super rich from Bitcoin, they're going to unload some now because we're at, like, a manic top of Bitcoin where we pushed up over 100,000, and so they're going to start taking a little bit off. They're still holding some, I'm sure, but we're going to lose some steam because we hit the level that everybody wanted us to hit, right, which was 100K. Now we're underneath it, and I think we're just going to sit in the 90s for a little while. But who knows? I might be wrong. Not an investment professional. As always, guys, not an investment professional. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Nothing here is financial advice. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. But honestly, we might not hold in the 90s either. We might come back down more. I really have no idea. Bitcoin's a different animal. It really is. Right? The way it moves is different. I guess people never heard of corrections. Yeah, again, like, I think we kind of need to correct some too. I think we're up a lot, and again, I thought we might correct next year. I thought we might do I thought we might hold and then correct next year, but we might be correcting early because, you know, you guys know me. I'm the top 3 worst predictor of these things ever. But it's not a shock that we're, like, pulling back a little bit here. But again, at the same time, like, people acting like this is some doomsday scenario. Those are the guys that I'm like criticizing a little bit here. Here's the NASDAQ. Here's the QQQ, right? Here's a long-term 3-week chart, right? Like, we're going to act like this is the doomsday scenario. Come on now. That? Come on now, guys. Like, listen, like, anybody that watches the market enough, you know, last year the market downtrended for like 4 months straight. And then after downtrending for 4 months straight, it ran, you know? And so it's a little early, guys. It's a little early. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Maybe this is the start of it. But even the SPY, I would say, is in a pretty good long-term trend. Like, look at the daily chart on the SPY here. I don't think that looks bad either. Again, I'm not telling you to buy anything. I think a lot of it is going to depend on what NVIDIA does, to be honest, right? NVIDIA weighted the market a lot over the past few years. It's been struggling to get some, to like, move. And it hasn't been breaking highs like everything else. So this is definitely a little aggressive for sure, but it's too. Again, we're down what, 3% right now versus high. So let's say the Q hit 540s. We're at 514s right now. So let's check the percentages here. Oh no, we're a little bit lower than this actually. We're really at about 505s right now. So we're down here. So a little bit larger pullback, but even still, let me see. So we hit 540. So the market has pulled back 6% now, 6% from its highs, right? From its highs. But at the same time, like, when you look at this, we were underneath this. I guess the point is we're still not even testing the lows of late November yet, right? So, like, we retraced a couple weeks gains, but it's still too early to tell. At the same time, though, just to put out, like, what I'm thinking, really, I'm still not buying this, right? I'm not comfortable enough to buy this here. You know, I think what we're getting now is the following week is going to be really slow after today. It's the holiday week followed by the New Year's week, which is also going to be really slow. So I'm not confident enough to buy it. I think we might correct sometime. I thought it would be next year, but it might be coming a little bit earlier, and maybe we get the spark of that this year, right? And honestly, if we do correct, people are going to act like I'm just some big perma bull or whatever, but you guys heard me. I thought we correct next year, you know, and again, we might be correcting a little bit earlier. But you better believe if we start, like, doing a deep correction in January, people are going to act like I'm wrong, whatever. That's honestly what I predicted. I told people I thought we might correct next year. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. And I don't think we should label it a correction or a crash yet. I mean, it's a small correction. Corrections are generally over 10 to 15%, right? So we're not there yet either, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, markets are just up so much. I mean, listen, guys. John, you say we could correct, but is it not a correction already? It depends on what you define a correction as. A lot of people are going to define it as... Let me check. A lot of people are going to define it over 10%, usually. This is technically not one. Yeah, so a market correction is a drop by 10% to just under 20% from its most recent peak. It is a normal and relatively frequent occurrence in finance, is what they say. Often seen as a healthy adjustment to overvalued conditions, right? So this is not even a correction yet, in all honesty, right? So this is just a pullback so far. You know, again, right now we're down about 6. So we need over 10 to be a correction in technical terms, and we're just not there yet. Yeah, PCE, the PCE could pour gas on this, or it could save us from this. We don't freaking know. And again, people are gonna act like, again, I was wrong. I'm gonna play a piece of this short that I published before the Fed meeting. All right, so I published this short before the Fed meeting, guys. Before, okay, listen to it. I'm just gonna play it. And again, guys, leading into this holiday, sometimes we get what's called a Santa rally, where markets rally leading into the holiday of Christmas. Now, this one's an incredibly important week because we have the FOMC decision this week, and that might really add some extra boost to either markets on the upside or downside. Yeah, so again, if you listen to that, I said it might add some boost to the market on the upside or downside, and it looks like the FOMC added some boost on the downside is what it looked like. But both sides, right? Like, it's not like, you guys know me. If anything, you should understand, I don't make super definitive predictions because I have no freaking idea what's going to happen. The thing I criticize most is people over labeling things crashes, right? Like, this is not a crash yet. We're not there yet. This might be the start of one, but we're just not there yet, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I guess I should say. And again, I'm not sure if we're going to continue down. I think we got to watch it. Again, the next couple weeks are going to be low liquidity weeks for sure. No, I think PCE might make it worse, guy. PCE, incredibly relevant inflation data. So PCE, core PCE is what you want to watch. It's the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. It's tomorrow, or it's today at 8:30, I mean. So it's in an hour, almost exactly an hour. And it could pour gas on this downward move, right? Will it extinguish or inflame this move, guys? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. PCE data today. Let's put the expectational numbers up here. It's expected at 0.2%. 0.2%. I'll put this data up on screen. Core PCE expected at 0.2% month over month. 2.9% year over year. Drops here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time is what this is. But we'll put core PCE is the big one too. Like, the one you want to watch is core PCE. That's like the most important one. We could look at regular PCE, but core is what you want to watch. Is your audio video way off sync, or is it me? I don't know, chat. Is my audio video down? I think you probably are listening to me. Like, again, I was playing a short a second ago where I talked about how the FOMC meeting could cause big volatility on the upside or downside is what I was playing. And so my voice isn't going to be in sync with that because I was playing a previous short, right? But now that that short is off, it should be fine, but let me know if it's not. No, you're good. Okay, for me, good morning, audio, video is fine. Yeah, if you hit the live button, you'll get caught up if you're behind. PPI inflation is going up pretty aggressively, so we should see PCE and CPI follow. Sure, I understand that logic. PPI is producer price index. It's business inflation. And eventually that's reflected usually to consumers as well. Eventually it follows into consumers also. But it's never, like, we'll see. We'll see. I hope not. You know, again, if it comes in worse, if inflation comes in bad today, guys. Like, again, so Powell reduced the expectation of rate cuts next year. And I think it's justifiable. Why? Because I think yesterday we showed 3.1% GDP, stronger than expected, over 3% GDP. We saw jobless claims come in lower than expected. We saw economic strength numbers in data at 8:30 yesterday morning, right? And so what does that mean? That means we need to cut rates less. It means we don't need to cut rates. The economy's strong. Strongish, I should say. But it doesn't mean it's going to hold. And so it means the economy's strongish. I dare say strong because then people get mad. And so, yeah, I mean, we don't need to cut rates if the economy's showing strength, right? It's a preventative measure. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. So far, we're getting deep red over the last few days. AMD's down. John, your yellow text banner is covering up which instruments are on your middle right chart. I understand. Here, I'll lower this so you can see everything. There you go. That's probably the best way to do it right there. Appreciate it. I have the best results trading 10 minutes after the bell too. Honestly, if you guys saw me on Top Step TV yesterday, dude, I was on point yesterday. If anybody watched me on Top Step TV, I was talking about NASDAQ levels. And I talked about 380. I talked about, I had a really good trade. We ended green again yesterday. I had a really good trade on Top Step TV where I told people where my entry was, where my stop loss, or where my profit taking level was, where I thought support was. And it followed exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. So we got in, we made money. It went down to 380s. We literally bounced. 380 was a level we were stressing over and over again. It went down to 380s, bounced directly off of that level to a T. Unfortunately, me and Dolby both were trying to get in it, and we were one tick away from entering it. Like, I made money on one trade like that, and then the second trade, we were literally one tick away from entering it. I was kind of bummed. Dolby was bummed too. We both kind of missed the trade, but it was a good trade idea, and it builds my confidence. And so honestly, what my realization is I might need to trade some of those hours, right? The 11 a.m. Central Time, which is noon, I guess, market time. Maybe there's some good trades because I like those, right? I think we're going to have a little bit different market where the market's still reacting to the levels of the Fed meeting and the FOMC drop and all that stuff. But we did really well. We read the market really, really well. It might be something that we try to trade a little bit later in the day too. Yeah. I was there. Your trade plan was excellent. Yeah, it ended up. Honestly, usually they have me come on at like 2 o'clock or like Eastern time. So usually it's like 2 p.m., which is the slowest part of the day, right? And so it felt good to come in when markets weren't super slow and actually have some good trades on there. It's a fun show, right? It's a fun show. That thing's gotten huge. Gov shutdown. Let's talk about it. Well, at this time, the shutdown might tank markets. It does historically tank markets, but it doesn't mean too much yet. We'll have to wait and see. I hope they get the deal done. We should all want them to get it done, Yeah, so PCE data might help this move or it might pour gas on it, guys, right? If inflation data comes in worse, I would be careful today. If inflation data comes in worse, I would be careful because the Fed meeting can make us drop, but this can throw gas on it. Yeah, the QQQ is the NASDAQ phase. So just to put this into perspective for everybody at home, right? If you look at the NQ futures contract and you look at and you look at the NASDAQ, or if you look at the QQQ and then you look at the NQ futures contract, it's the same thing, right? So here's the NASDAQ futures contract that you see me trade every day, and then here's the QQQ ETF, which follows this middle chart here. They all follow what's called the NASDAQ 100 index fund, which is NDQ. If you want to look at like the stock symbol for the NASDAQ 100, it's NDQ. NDQ, it's all the same price action, really. Yeah, and so if you zoom out of this, it's all basically the same thing here. Yeah, the month-to-month reading is going to be important. The year-over-year is important too. I was hoping the good jobless claims would support us a bit more. Well, it's not just that. GDP was strong as well, right? So GDP was at a strong spot. I'm going to put a timer up. I realize I don't have a timer up yet, chat. So we're going to put a timer up. We got, what, 53 and a half minutes? There we go. It's a pretty accurate one right here. So there's the timer. And again, you can kind of see the NASDAQ falling down a little bit here. I'll put the SPY up here too. It's important to look. The Dow, honestly, the Dow has really been getting hammered. The Dow was on like an 11-day red streak. I don't know if it technically ended red or green yesterday. Did the Dow continue its red streak? It looks like it did. Or wait. Let's take a look at yesterday. Was the Dow red yesterday, guys? Y'all answer, because it was on a 10-day red streak, which is crazy. What is your approach for markets? My approach typically falls into the realm of a couple different things. For day trading, right? For day trading, I look at a lot of cup and handles, a lot of head and shoulders patterns, inverse head and shoulders patterns on the downside. You know, I look at a lot of 200 exponential moving average plays. I usually restrict myself from trading up until at least the opening bell. I don't trade before the opening bell, day trading wise. And I usually take a very small 45-minute approach to day trading, very limited day. But again, my trading has gone very well. I've been doing much better. I'm in kind of like a testing phase right now. So I'm not even claiming to be good, guys, as you guys know. But like if you look at my stats here, dude. So look at my stats here, guys. We are doing beautifully, honestly, man, like beautifully. So this is my graph, right, over the past, really almost the past month, right? So this is all the way back until November 25th on my main account. That is my graph, all the way back until November 25th. We also have this stat right here. So look, so here's my actual winning days versus losing days. So since November 25th, 25 days ago, you know, basically like 4 weeks ago, I've only had 3 losing days total. 3 losing days. I'm also currently on a 4-day green streak. But we've been doing like very, very good. Very, very good. We'll see if we can continue it. Just nice little tiny trades, right? So because we're still in kind of like a testing phase of this. So it's not big size at all. But we've been doing very, very well. Trading those. Again, I follow my system to a T. I don't trade early. I wait until the opening bell. I usually wait at least 5 minutes after the opening bell to get involved with stuff. Yesterday, the losing streak ended. Okay, gotcha. Saw you on Top Step TV yesterday, John. Great trading analysis. Thank you, Louis. I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, it felt good to go on there and actually have some good calls because, you know, again, usually I'm at the 2 p.m. spot, and it's a tough market. It's a tough market. It's still a fun show. I always like the show. Good people over there. What about buying puts and stocks? Well, I was basically betting on the downside keys. Dow was up by a mere 15 points. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I even titled the stream here, guys. And I'm not saying it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I've entitled the stream. Know about this FOMC. Santa rally or dive? Question mark. And so again, people are going to act like I'm just some big permabull who said the market would go up during the FOMC meeting just because they're kind of desperate to label me wrong. But, no. I wasn't wrong here. We did dive from the FOMC meeting. The overarching point is that we get volatility from the Fed meeting, and it can go up or down, right? It doesn't necessarily have to go up. We could also drop, and that's what I said in the video too, and it looks like that was correct, unfortunately, and the market dove. I'm guessing it's okay to trade and only make $20 or so. Yeah, that's fine. It depends on the trader, though. You know, you just don't want to fall for this thing where, you know, you're in this get-rich-quick scenario where you got to make $1,000 a day. Like, I'm here to tell you, if you want to make $1,000 a day, you need to have $500K to $1 million in equity to genuinely safely make $1,000 plus a day. Yet all these guys with freaking $10,000 accounts are out here trying to make $10,000 or out here trying to make $1,000 a day, literally 10% a day, and then they're destroying their accounts and they don't know what happened, and they're just trading way too large. Like, it's okay to trade small. I'm a trading wimp. I always call myself that because, dude, I'm not a big gambler. I'm really not a gambler at all. I do not like to gamble. I play poker, but poker's different, right? I don't like gambling with unfavorable odds at all, right? Like, my wife and I go to the casino. We went to play poker. They didn't have poker, and I had a lot of cash that I had to take home and eventually redeposit. And we literally, I made $50 in blackjack. She lost $50, and then we left break even. Didn't even, like, gamble at all there. Like, not really, at least. And so I'm not a big gambler. I don't really like risking money with bad odds. Most of the casinos bad odds. And so in that regard, like, I have to have good odds to want to do something. So market's bouncing back here, right around this $21,000 level. Here's the Dow on the left. Here's the SPY on the right. So, yeah. Where's Tesla? A lot of people talking about Tesla. A lot of people were looking for Tesla to break 5. And it's just kind of pulling back heavy. Well, that'd be 1% a day. I don't know if 1% a day is reasonable to expect either. Nah, screw Baccarat. I'm not a big Baccarat player. It's okay to be wrong. Oh, I'll admit when I'm wrong for sure. I don't know if I'm wrong though. Like, if I told people we would get some big bullish reaction to the Fed meeting, then maybe you could say I was wrong. But I don't ever say that, right? Because I always tell people I have no idea what's going to happen from the Fed meeting, right? Again, even if you look at that short, I'm like, hey, we could go up or down big from this event, because I really don't know, and nobody really does either. And again, I think what happens, I said this yesterday, what happens is, like, people bet on market crashes like this, right? Market goes up, they say the market's going to crash, market goes higher, they say the market's going to crash, market goes higher, they say the market's going to crash, and then the market finally pulls back some, and then they try to label this a crash because they've been saying the market's been going to crash since way back here. You know, they've been saying it. And so even though we have this correction, even if we dip more than that, and then we continue back up, they're going to act like they're right here. And I think it's important to understand the market has to correct sometimes. Again, I thought the only way I might have been wrong was I thought the market might correct next year, like early next year versus late this year. And so my timing was maybe a little bit off there, and I was probably wrong. If this isn't even considered a correction yet, but if it continues down, it will be. And if that does happen, then I was wrong about the timing of it. I thought we might correct next year versus this year, but I thought we would correct regardless. I think we're up too much. I'm not really buying up a ton of stuff here anyway. Oh, today is triple witching day. I forgot. It is triple witching day. Interesting. I'm definitely one of the top 3 most wrong traders of all time ever in the world. Yeah, $200 to $300 wins are great if you can make them. Triple witching day is a day in which 3 major contract types in finance expire same day. right? It used to be quad witch. So you'll hear quad witching throw around a lot. That was 4 contract types, which single stock futures no longer exist, right? But there used to be something called single stock futures, where an example would be like Apple stock futures. You could trade futures on Apple, futures on Amazon, stuff like that. It would kind of get around the PDT rule, and they kind of got weird about it. So there's no longer single stock futures, and so now it's just triple witching day. So now the ones that are left that expire today are index futures, so like the S&P 500 futures, the nasdaq futures, right? So those expire today. We rolled over earlier in the week, right? So we rolled the contracts over early in the week, but they still expire today. And then so that's one. And then we have single stock options like Amazon options, Apple options, Google options, Walmart options, and we have index options, so the S&P 500 options, NASDAQ options, right? So index futures, stock options, index options all expire today, which is triple witching day. No, I don't. No, I don't do those. Do you trade with or invest in those? No, I don't invest in those at all. Yeah, maybe we get fireworks today. It's possible. I think today it's more likely for us to get big action versus the Fed meeting day, even though we did get a little bit of big action. But I think we have the heels of the Fed meeting volatility, and we have massive inflation data. It's also triple witching day. And so, yeah, today's kind of the triple threat in that regard in terms of volatility. We'll see if we get it, though. It is Friday. Can you try to explain why we had this move down in the first place? I mean, sure. The easiest way to put it is that markets go up and down, right? Like if we put up a weekly chart here, and again, let me get rid of some of these levels here. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. If we get rid of some of these levels, right? Like the easiest way to put it is that you're asking why we went down. It's because we've gone up so much. Like, look, this is the last year, right? And so like, it's kind of something where crickets, it's the end of the world scenario, right? And I think it's too early to say that, but an easier way to put it is that the Fed meeting came out and Jerome Powell reduced the expectation of how many rate cuts we would get in 2025 and next year. So they originally thought we would do 4 rate cuts in 2025. They reduced that expectation to 2. So now they only think we're going to cut rates twice in 2025, and I think the market wants rate cuts. The Jerome Powell also came out a little bit more bearish on labor market, right? So a little bit more skeptical on the labor market, said the labor market was weaker than expected. And so all of those things made the market pull back a little bit. But in the end, guys, you have to understand, if the market's going to go up big, a correction is necessary and healthy. If it goes up too much without correcting, it's not good at all, right? Like you want to pull back, you want a correction. If it doesn't, that sets the stage for even bigger corrections and crashes that come out of nowhere. So you want us to correct some. It's not something in which like we can go up big and just never pull back, you know. John, you say it could be the beginning of a crash, but you also said a recession is unlikely. Can you explain? Well, what I said was that, number one, it could be the beginning of the crash. It might not be, right? I think it looks like the beginning of a correction more so than anything. Number two is, you know, you're saying crash and then you're saying recession. Those are two completely different realms, right? Recession is the economy, right? And the market can certainly crash under a hot economy, right? And just because the market is pulling back some does not mean the economy is weak. In fact, yesterday we had GDP data come out. They expected 2.9%. We showed 3.1% GDP. So a stronger economy than expected. Jobless claims, unemployment filings came in lower than expected. So less people filing for unemployment yesterday. Unemployment's under 4.5%. GDP's over 3%. And so, you know, none of those things look like a recession at all, right? And the real reason people are worried right now is inflation over everything else. And that sets the stage for today, where inflation's coming out. And, you know, if the higher inflation is, the worse people are going to react to it. So again, people are fearing inflation right now. over economic weakness. So yes, we are not in a recession. We're not really near a recession right now. I'm not saying we're not going to have one, but it's not looking like one right now, certainly. And we're certainly not in a recession. And so there's just a huge difference between the market in a recession. You know, an example of this is, you know, we had a lot of economic weakness over the past 5 years, right? Like, we had a lot of economic weakness. We had, you know, a couple losing GDP quarters, like back 2021, 2022, dealing from the consequences of the global, you know, issues that we had in 2020, right? The shutdowns, all that stuff. During that period of time, markets were flying up, right? So markets were flying up. AI was taking off. Like, markets were breaking highs after highs after highs. Meanwhile, the economy was in a kind of a weaker spot. And so there's not always a correlation with, like, strong stocks means strong economy, weak stocks means weak economy. That's not the case, right? They can go two completely different ways simultaneously. And that's important to understand. They're two different things. Yeah, I don't think anybody wanted this to happen during the holiday, but eventually it's going to happen. You guys ask John questions like he's Jay Powell. I'm John Powell over here, guys. No, it's all good. I'm more of an economist, so I'm okay with answering these questions. Yeah, and again, guys, listen. Markets are important to pay attention to today because we got PCE inflation. Core PCE, excluding food and energy, are the most important releases that the Fed looks out more than anything else. They're going to look at core PCE. They're expected at 0.2% today, 2.9% on the year. Drops right here at 8:30. We'll cover it live as soon as it happens. We'll have thousands of people here when it drops because it's an important thing today, especially as the market is on fire a little bit. But with that said, guys, like, you got to understand this. Like, it's really, really important to understand this. Okay, the market, and I've said this over and over again over the last, like, 3 months, really. The market's up 100% in the last 2 years. 100%, guys. We're doing crazy percentages. The nasdaq is what I'm talking about. I think the S&P is up less, but it's still up ridiculous amounts here, chat. Ridiculous amounts. That's not going to happen forever. Eventually, we are going to pull back, right? That's an inevitability. Like, corrections, crashes, pullbacks are going to happen. If you are really super worried about them, again, I'm going to preface this with, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not telling you to hold. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you to sell, right? For me, the people who lose the most in crashes are people who get emotional and sell, right? The people who benefit the most are usually people who dollar cost average, buying the dip and DCAing into it after they start. Like, an example of this is if Apple, Amazon, whatever, NASDAQ is down, 25%. They start to buy, and they buy a little bit more every week. They buy 50 shares, 100 shares every week, DCAing into it over a longer period of time. Those are the people who usually make out like bandits, dude. They do great. I'm not telling you what to do, though. We don't know how much the market could drop. We don't know if this is the start of a big correction or if this is just a healthy pullback. And I think if you put up a longer-term chart, it looks more just like a normal pullback so far, right? Like, again, here's the trend, right? Like, this is what we've seen. So, again, people labeling this some brutal correction. I mean, is it good? No. Is it the end of the world? Not yet, You also have to understand, like, tax harvesting is real. And so what is tax harvesting? Tax harvesting is when big money essentially starts to unload some of their losing positions from unrealized to realized. They start to sell and take and cover their losing positions so that they can have less realized gains when they pay taxes on this year, right? So they start unloading some of their losing positions so they can have less realized gains when they pay taxes on the year. That's very common at the end of the year as well. It's called tax harvesting. That might contribute to some of the selling pressure also. So I hope all that makes sense. We went 10 years flat, early 2000s. Yeah, I mean, that's why dollar cost averaging that's why I'm mentioning dollar cost averaging, right? Because you don't know how long we're going to stay down. Long term, we're going to go up, but you don't know how long we're going to be down, right? And the reason dollar cost averaging is good is because, even if we stay down for a long time, it's going to slowly bring your average into a better, more reasonable spot. If that makes sense. Well, until the end of the year, Jackson is usually. I'm not, again, you guys hear me say this. I'm just theorizing on what could be happening right now. In the end, we're up 100% in a year or two, right? And so it's not, you got to have reasonable expectations for markets. They're not going to go straight up. If we go up too much, eventually we're going to correct a little bit. And correction is important. It's necessary. It's not something in which, like, it's not something that's always a bad thing. Markets correct, and they need to correct sometimes, so. We're supposed to have a Santa rally as this was an election year. It's even more likely. Yeah, true. I mean, we have a Santa rally 80% of the time, right? 80% of the time we do a Santa rally. But at the same time, I think some would already say we did get the Santa rally. And now we're just correcting leading into the new year from tax harvesting and you know, people taking profits from it. But we did run into, you know, the holiday. We just started pulling back a little bit earlier than some people thought. $96 of capital was allocated. Yeah, maybe. Again, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I thought we would correct next year. We might be corrected a little bit earlier. Time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see. You know, it's possible that this inflation data dumps the market more and pours gas on the fire of the market right now. It's also possible it kind of helps us a little bit. If inflation data comes in low, market might like it and go up. But again, I would expect personally a higher reading today. But again, at the same time, you don't really know. Sometimes it depends on what they want to happen, I think. So I think it could go either way. This is one I'm not really comfortable with predicting. I would say it seems like it would come in higher for a couple different reasons, specifically because we see strong economic data. I also think Jerome Powell spoke about this. Again, remember, so run with me, guys. Do you guys remember during the Fed meeting, didn't Jerome Powell say that PCE inflation for this release this month was relatively low? Didn't he say that? I feel like he did. And I remember him saying that, and I asked the chat, I was like, did he just say inflation PCE would come in low on Friday? And I feel like he kind of did. I'm not 100% though, and it doesn't mean anything here. But if PCE comes in low, that's good too. We'll have to wait and see. Didn't he say that though? I feel like he said that because I feel like he was getting some heat. And I feel like he tried to pad it a little bit by saying PCE came in low this month. But we'll see. I hope I'm right there. And that might be good for markets. Yeah, the market needs it to be low right now. That's going to help. Yeah, it's triple witching day. Yeah, y'all go sub to Beach Bum. Join him on his live streams this weekend at 10 a.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. Go check him out. Great swing trading content. If you want to learn swing trading, check him out. You know, go to his channel, Beach Bum Trading. And again, guys, I think Bitcoin might consolidate for a little bit in the 90s. Dude, I got my son a new laptop for Christmas. He's got a better computer than I do at this point in time, dude. I bought my son a super nice laptop. It's got a Ryzen 9 core. He's got more cores than I do on this thing. I've got 7 cores on this thing. He's got 9. Right? He's gonna have a better computer. He's got 32 gigs of RAM like me. You know, and again, I'm okay with spending the money on it because, like, I know one of the things that benefited me in life was computers, right? I was a huge computer nerd, right? Not really a hardware nerd, like, about, like, I had some cool computers, but I loved building things on the internet. You know, when I was a kid, I created a Legend of Zelda walkthrough site, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask walkthrough site. When I was like 11, I created the website. It was expensive though, but it was cool. I got some viewers too. I got some visitors. Like it got some okay visitors. But like, and then I would also like download Pokemon and, you know, Zelda emulators and ROMs and play that on my computer. Some of them were badly translated, but it was fun, man. And it taught me how to like build stuff on the internet, right? And like yeah, I want to channel my creativity into something. That's the way to do it, you know, is to learn how to do that on the internet. And so I'm okay with that investment, you know, and hopefully he can learn to be creative on the internet, and in good ways, right? There's a lot of ways you can be bad creative on the internet, but let me put a poll out. I haven't done a poll yet. I hope it dumps more. Sorry, John. Yeah, I mean, listen, if it does, look, I'm super light right now in my positions. You know, like I hold like 5 different things right now, but it's not a bunch of stuff. It's very small positions here. And so acting like I'm super over leveraged on the upside and I'm just losing tons of money is not accurate. Again, think about it. I haven't been buying anything on stream because I don't really trust it right now. And I think I've been telling people over and over again, I think we might correct into next year. I still think we do, right? Even if we go back up from this dip, I still think we might correct sometime within the next year. I think it's necessary, of course. We're not just going to go straight up. And I think that's important. Let me do a poll here, actually. Do you think we crash? Or do you think we correct over 10% in the following month? I think that's a good poll. Do you think we correct over 10% in the following month? Vote on the poll. Let me know how you feel. Oh yeah, I did buy some Q yesterday for sure, but I actually sold it, right? So if you guys remember, so I actually ended up cutting my NASDAQ trade up a lot. So I did not hold through this, and I'll show you guys. It's a very small position, but I'll show you guys the actual trade I got in because I did actually end up cutting it. I didn't hold it. Let me, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was a tiny trade, but like, look, I'll show you guys the trade right here. So I ended up buying the dip. Let me put a 5. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'll zoom in here and show you guys this trade. So I ended up, let me get my trusty snipping tool out here. So I ended up buying small size on the Q here. So I ended up buying the Q here, immediately taking a third of it off here, holding a little bit more, taking another piece to where I sold 2/3 of my position at the top, buying back on this dip right here, and then unloading the rest on the bounce to the opening bell, and then I'm flat, right? And so I traded this thing perfectly yesterday. I bought the dip, sold up here, held the 2/3 of the position to the very top, bought it, added the size right back on this pullback, and then unloaded at the top to where I was flat. By the opening bell yesterday, I was flat. Yeah, a little bit after the opening bell. So I didn't, number one, it wasn't a big position. Number two, I got out like almost at the perfect spot on that trade. So yeah, again, I didn't like holding it into the open, so I unloaded it and got out. But again, very small position. Top 3 comment reader on YouTube. Definitely top 3-ish. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes until inflation data drops. 25 minutes. It's 8 a.m. PCE's coming. Ever heard of AI? It's here to stay and changing everything. Oh, I agree, absolutely. Again, I told people this years ago, right? Like, one of the things I pride myself on is that I told people years ago, I told people that AI was going to be big. I had so many people that argued with me, bro. You know how many people told me that AI was just a buzzword, that it wasn't going to be big and that it wasn't going to be useful and that it was super, like, useless? People told me that 2-3 years ago, bro. I never see them anymore because they know how wrong they were about it and they know how right I was about it, dude. I was telling everybody. Again, from a programmer's perspective, right? Like, I'm a JavaScript programmer, like React Native, like, what's called a front-end developer. So like internet development is what JavaScript is essentially, or what it's used for is like building things on the internet. React Native is mobile development, like building things for smartphones, applications for smartphones. It's Facebook's framework or Meta's framework. But as a programmer myself, right, and I'm not even claiming to be the greatest, I'm definitely top 3 ever, but I'm not even claiming to be a good programmer. But one of the things you realize when you play with AI is that we're going to have an exponential increase in technology from it, right? Because I can basically tell AI to build all this different stuff. I can ask it to build me a React component, and it'll do it in freaking 20 seconds. Makes my life so much easier, and what it does is it allows me to build stuff faster, right? It allows other people to do it faster too, and it's only going to get better. Like, it's not the best right now. It kind of spits out spaghetti code, but it's gotten a lot better in just the last 2 months. Like, the newest editions of ChatGPT have gotten a lot better in the last 2 months, as well as it's going to, like, we're in the very early stages of it. It's going to continue to get better and better and better, right? And so what this is going to cause is an exponential growth in production of technology. And that's going to make a lot of things different. It's just going to make a lot of things different. And so it's important for people to recognize that. And that's one of the reasons that I was able to take advantage of some of this big AI run, is because I saw that early, and I thought that was an important part of it that a lot of people miss out on. So 4.0 specifically, 4.0. You know, there's also more models, so you can use like 01 if you want like advanced reasoning and stuff like that. There's a lot of different models you can use. Right, for sure. I don't know what PC is going to be. Definitely top 3 worst ever. Yeah, dude. You know how many people tell me that AI, like, you know how many people told me that AI was useless? And again, I think some of them, like, I think one of the things that you see from this is that you see a lot of people discount AI and what it means before we got these crazy runs. Like, I would say like 4 years ago, right? 4 years ago, so many people discounted AI and acted like it wasn't like the next big thing, and acted like it wasn't going to be some game-changing thing. And so they didn't really get involved with the market. They instead said, oh, the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. And they missed out on this parabolic run that we've seen in tech over the last 4 years because of that specifically, because they discounted AI. Right. And I think that's kind of a hard thing for them to look at now when the market's up 100% plus in the last 2 years alone. And I think that's a really hard thing for them to see. And so I think something that happens is that when people miss out on big runs, they kind of want us to correct to justify them missing out on it. Right. So they miss out on the big run, and then they want the market to crash so they can be like, see, it shouldn't have been up anyway. You know, that's something that's very common too. But for me, I ended up like getting in and getting out, and now we're okay. Yeah, I mean, Facebook's Llama AI system is good. I like Google's AI. Honestly, Google AI is really solid. Well, VR is definitely getting really good. I'm interested in the simulation theory too. I think the simulation theory is super interesting, but it'll mess with your head a lot. You know, and again, if you don't know the simulation theory at home, simulation theory essentially says, and once you think about it from this perspective, it really starts to mess with your head, right? But simulation theory says if it's possible for humans to create a virtual reality that eventually into the future, anytime into the future, if it's possible for humans to create a virtual reality in which it's indistinguishable from what we currently see out of our eyes, it's actually much more statistically probable that we are already in that simulation, right? And then, you know, it goes even deeper than that, where they say like, okay, well, if we're in a simulated world and we have these simulated beings, right? And then they are like us, where they create their own virtual reality in the simulation, and then they have their own version of virtual reality. And so then there could be different levels to it. Like, we could be in a simulation of a simulation of a simulation, right? And in that case, it's even much more statistically probable that we're already in that simulation. So it'll start messing with your head the more you think about it. And again, a lot of people have speculated like the law of attraction could be because we're in a simulation and they're somehow like recycling data. And so like there's all kind of interesting theories. I'm not saying I agree with any of it, right? I think it's fun to theorize on though, and I think it's an interesting thing to look at. But who knows, man? I'm a video game player, so yeah, I always kind of put it in the context of video games. But it's definitely interesting. Tesla bouncing back up to almost 420. I think it's scarier than the Matrix theory. It would be the equivalent of if Neo went into the Matrix and then realized that some of the programs in the Matrix had created their own Matrix inside the Matrix. And the real question is, how many levels deep into that do we go, right? Like, that's the real question. Like, how deep does it go down, right? That could happen over and over and over and over again. We could be 100 levels in, right? And if you know, if we no longer exist here, then we just wake up in the other one and restart. Like, it could get really weird. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. It'll mess with your head, you know, and genuinely mess with your head. You know, it's kind of like Inception almost, right? Like Inception, and how it messed with people's head in Inception. It's an interesting theory. Game theory is interesting. Yeah. Let me look at our poll number. So we asked people, does the market correct over 10% in the following months? 60% say yes, 40% say no. So 60% saying yes, 40% saying no. Most people think we're going to correct a little bit. I think we're on the path to it, and it really depends on what inflation data shows up as today. Today's inflation report is incredibly relevant for markets, incredibly important to pay attention to. And yeah, I think it's something that we want to watch. I'm going to put up, again, we are going to day trade as well, of course, at the opening bell like we always do, chat. So we are going to day trade. Let me put this up, though. So here's the NASDAQ. Big rebounding move on the NASDAQ here. We have 20 minutes left, a little bit over 20 minutes. We got about 1,000 people watching, so thanks so much. Flight simulator in VR. Honestly, I'm one of those people that can't really play VR. I get nauseous, right? Like, if I play VR for longer than like 5 minutes, I'm getting nauseous. I get motion sickness in general, right? Like, I get motion sickness in cars. I get motion sickness on airplanes. I get seasick especially, right? I gotta Dramamine it up if I get on any of those things and then sleep it through. And so VR is just motion sickness 10x, you know? Hey John, what do you think about quantum computing to AI learning? I think quantum computing is really interesting, and obviously it has some interesting things to look through in terms of AI. It's still a little early for me because quantum computing's good. You know, it's hard to tell, like with stuff like this, it's hard to tell whether it's here to stay or whether they come out with some type of different technology that is better, more capable, and more efficient or whatever. So I like quantum, and I think it's, you know, again, I always tell people, like, to put this into perspective, if you hear quantum computing buzzword thrown around, quantum essentially means there's these really super computers. They're really fragile computers, honestly. They're super expensive, but what they do is they do their processes simultaneously, right? Like a normal computer has an order to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. This is a really simplified way to explain it just for context, but do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. With quantum computers, they have this state where they can do all of it simultaneously. And so what this does is it maximizes efficiency and speed of which it does things. So basically, like a quantum computer can do all kind of things. Like the speed at which it does things, the time it takes to do complex tasks is much less with quantum computers. And again, there's some implications towards like crypto mining, right? Like crypto mining is essentially trying to, work through different algorithms to mine like Bitcoin or crypto. Some of these computers are going to be able to do it much faster than anybody has historically, and they might have a huge edge over the future wealth of society if they're able to mine a lot of the left Bitcoin. All right, so we're rejecting at the 200 exponential. We got a little bit of a lower high, which is something I talked about yesterday on stream on Top Step TV. Like I look at retest of the 200 exponential and then breakdowns underneath it. And so I honestly really like this breakdown. I might actually take a trade real quick here, guys. A little short trade if I can get a bounce back up, a small position here. We need a little pop, and then I want to short. All right, we're gonna get in early. I'll add up to 3 contracts here. We got 2 so far, 2 contracts. It is ahead of the PCE data, so the only thing that worries me about this position is we could have choppiness. But we'll see. I'll take profit quick if it goes in my favor. Here we go. Again, this is on Top Step. They give you a demo, test your skill with it. All right, I'll take half off there. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for. The futures market, I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. All right, make a little $20 bill there. I'll take it. You can see how similar it is to day trading stocks. Again, they test your skill with a demo account, and it's kind of like a souped up demo account. It's the best of both worlds. They give you a 50K demo. You make 3K without losing 2K. And following their rules, they fund you 50K, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. And the patterns are super similar to like blue chip stock patterns because I'm trading the NASDAQ, the QQQ, very similar to day trading stocks. And they've paid out over 150 million in the last 4 years. They've been around for over 12 years. If you want to check them out, they are an affiliate of mine. Definitely one of the top 3 most biased traders of all time ever in the world. Confirm all of this with them. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. But this is a 50K funded account. We're on a 5-day green streak. If we can end green today, it'll be 5 green days in a row. And again, what I'm seeing here, guys, on the 200 exponential, what I'm seeing is this. Okay, this is the system I have. Okay, we're watching the 200 exponential on a 1-minute chart. If we put in a lower high, if we put in an isolated high above it, and then the next high that we get afterwards is a lower high like this, and then we consequently dump underneath the 200 exponential, if I can attack it right around here, it's usually going to continue down, right? Not always, of course. Again, this is something I talked about in the video I published the day before yesterday. I published a video on my strategies that I use on this, right? This is one of the strategies. If you watch that video, I'll put the video up in chat. If you watch that video, this is absolutely one of the strategies. And so I'll try to find that video for you guys right now. And again, we are running pretty good percentages. Can you barely hear me? Somebody saying you can barely hear me. I'll put the strategy video up in chat, but I would stick around. Again, we are about to cover PCE data in about 12 minutes. We got 1,100 people here watching. Warren Buffett's the GOAT. Definitely 3rd best storyteller in the world right now. Buffett's one of the greatest. He was late getting into Apple. Yeah, I mean, people act like just because Buffett's a good investor that he has to be early and do everything, right? Like, of course he's not going to be early in everything. Nobody is. How does PCE affect Bitcoin price? Well, if inflation gets worse, sometimes Bitcoin can have a positive reaction with inflation data, because the worse inflation gets, the more people flock to investment hedges like Bitcoin, or inflation hedges, I should say, like Bitcoin and stuff. Not always, though. It just depends. You're quieter than normal? Am I really? Yeah, I'll turn myself up a little bit. Let me know if that's better. I mean, I can turn myself up fine. That might be better. I don't know. Let me know. A patient investor and a good investor are synonymous, Devin, I would say. All right, right, guys, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I'm going to put up NVIDIA here. I think NVIDIA is important. Bitcoin is not a hedge against inflation. Shorts or puts are the only hedge. I mean, look, it's all love. I think that's an incredibly silly comment. No offense to you, bro, but I think that's a ridiculous comment. Okay? The reason it's ridiculous is because you have to look at, like, we're not talking about short term. We're talking about long-term inflation hedges. And in that regard, every single investment is a long-term inflation hedge. The whole point of investing into Apple, Amazon, the S&P, gold, right? Real estate, the NASDAQ, is to hedge against inflation long term. If you do not invest your money and stick your money in something that goes up over time, you will lose it to inflation. It's inevitability. And so every major investment type is a hedge against inflation, including Bitcoin. And Bitcoin more than any other, because Bitcoin's like online gold, and gold is what, guys? It's one of the most famous hedges against inflation, right? If we were still on the gold standard, like, our money would be worth way more, right? Way more. And so, you know, we're looking at inflation hedges, and every major investment is just that, an inflation hedge. It keeps up with inflation. Its job, the reason you invest in things is so you don't lose your cash to inflation over time. Oh, I'm talking about a 1 year or less hedge. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I'm definitely not talking about that, though. 1 year is nothing in market terms, right? Like, the problem with investing in that's not an investment, you know. Again, 1 year is not long enough. Anything could happen. There's always variance, right? And 1 year is not enough time to get around the variance, I guess is the point. All right, guys, we got 8 minutes. Santa rally canceled. Well, it definitely ain't looking good, you know. I don't know if it's canceled or if it's just over, but market's definitely not looking bullish. I'll put it that way. Well, 80% of the time we do a Santa rally, but, you know, there's always that 20% of times we don't, right? It just if something goes up 80% of the time, when it has that 20%, can we really say it's not real? You know. Ooh, this coffee is super strong. Ugh. All right, guys, 1,300 people here. We got about 7 minutes left, a little bit under that, 6.5 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Core PCE expected at 0.2% month-over-month, 2.9% year-over-year, guys. 0.2% month-to-month, 2.9% year-over-year. Drops at 8:30. Yeah, join our Discord. Completely free, doesn't cost a penny. Ooh, be ready, guys. Our Discord's kind of growing a little bit. I noticed that. Yeah, so Starbucks Workers Union plans to strike in 3 cities ahead of the holiday. Tesla is recalling 700,000 vehicles in the U.S. over tire pressure monitoring. We also have Swiss bank watchdog blundered on credit suite report finds. FedEx is going to spin off its freight trucking business as well. It restructures operations to focus on its core delivery business. Europe approves Nvidia's acquisition of Run AI. So the European Commission said on Friday it has approved unconditionally Nvidia's $700 million bid for Run AI. OpenAI getting fined 15 million euros over privacy rules breach. Yeah, if you struggle with over trading too, you can also give yourself a maximum. Amount of trades per day on Top Step. Yeah, the government shutdown's looming. This happens like at least once every few years, to be honest. right, chat. We have 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes left. Be ready, guys. We got about 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Market's bouncing back up to the 200 exponential here. We'll see if it continues. But, yeah. We could just have chop leading into the PCE data, too. All right, what's up, Nacho? Hey, thank you. Good luck. Yeah. Again, I thought the correction would happen next year, but it looks like we're having it a little bit early. At least, again, we're not at a correction yet. We still need a couple. We still need like another 4 or 5% to label this a correction. All right, so we're right at that 200 EMA here. I'm not messing with this now because we're too close to the PCE data for me to really mess with this report. All right, guys. It is Friday. We ain't got no job and we ain't got ish to do, but watch PCE data come out. We'll see if we get any good reports. Core PCE again expected at 0.2%. Regular PCE expected at 2.9% on the year. Or no, I'm sorry. Core PCE expected at 0.2%. Regular PCE expected at 0.2%. Regular PCE year over year expected at 2.5%. Core PCE year over year expected at 2.9%. Chat 2.9%. We got about 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. I believe we also have, we also have inflation expectations in Michigan consumer sentiment data at 10 o'clock today. All right, here we go. 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here, chat, if you haven't already. I appreciate it. We are also going to, I think we're already in sub-only mode, right? Yes, sir, we are. All right, cool. Thank you guys for subscribing here. We appreciate the love. About 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. It's also triple wishing, quad wishing day as well today, right? So, again, even more volatility potential coming today. Here we go, guys. 2 minutes. We got about 2,000 viewers here. Thanks so much for joining us today. Give me your last minute predictions. High or low inflation? High or low inflation? High or low inflation, guys? Let me know what you think. High. If it comes in high, the market might get even more bear action here, to be honest. If the inflation data comes in high, it's not good, right? It's not good. If inflation data comes in high, the market's going to dump almost certainly. It might not. Nothing ever is definitive. We don't freaking know. All we can do is guess. And I think the market's going to fall if it comes in high. But the market's kind of pushing up now a little bit here. And again, I believe, didn't Jerome Powell said PCE looked good this month? Like he said a little bit about PCE on Wednesday for the Fed meeting. And so I feel like he might have said it comes in low, and I hope he's right. I hope it comes in low. We'll see. But I have no freaking idea, and I might be wrong here. Don't copy me. All right, guys, here we go. We got 1 minute. 1 minute. We got 30 seconds, chat. All right, here we go. Inflation data coming soon. You can list your percentages in chat if you want. All right, guys. Technically, we got about 27 or 26 seconds left. This timer's a little bit early. I'm going to pause it. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream, chat. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit just so we can make sure we cover it. All right, guys, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the report live right now. Waiting. It's not out yet. Okay, there it's out. Came in lower than lower than expected everywhere. Core PCE 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. Year over year, it came in at 2.8% for core versus 2.9% expected. Regular year over year came in lower than expected. Regular month over month came in at 0.1 versus 0.2%. Guys, so lower than expected inflation data basically everywhere on stream. Again, 0.1% versus 0.2% expected for core, which is the big one, guys. That's the most important one. Core PCE came in. Core PCE came in at 0.1% versus 0.2% expected. It came in at 2.8% on the year versus 2.9% expected. So again, better than expected everywhere. Market's ripping up on it. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, but this is what the market needed. It definitely didn't need worse. But yeah, so you can see it up on screen, guys. I'll put the rest on screen. Regular PCE. 2.4% year over year versus 2.5% expected. And so yeah, that's it. So better than expected inflation data, guys. Market is up, rebounding a little bit. Q is back up to 510s. Nvidia back up to 128s, 129s. Tesla back up to 423s here. Better inflation data than we thought. Chad, better inflation data than we thought. That's good. That's an optimistic look. And we are going to day trade this live. But again, inflation data came in good. And again, honestly, it's kind of interesting because Jerome Powell gave us a little bit of a clue during the Fed meeting. During the Fed meeting, remember, Jerome Powell said PC inflation looked good for this month, right? So he gave us a little bit of clue during the Fed meeting, kind of a rare thing, and the market popped up. Honestly, we need this. This is much better than it coming in low, or much better than it coming in high. If inflation data showed up high today, chaos can happen, guys. Chaos can happen. But look at this. The market is up. It doesn't mean it's going to hold. And again, just like the drops, this is a relatively small move, right? It's a couple percent. It's good. It doesn't mean we're out of the hole yet that we've been in over the last few days, though. It doesn't mean that at all. So, again, I would just be weary. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, too. So, just be careful, guys. Be careful. Again, if you want to check out my sponsor, check out Top Step. No PDT rule in futures. I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are super similar to blue chip stock patterns. And you can see no commissions on Top Step X. And so if you are going to sign up, zero commissions on Top Step X, only 74 cents in fees per contract. And that means I can make $11, $3, $50, $14, and still net majority of the profit. It's very similar to day trading stocks. I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are super similar to blue chip stock patterns or Forex patterns. There's just no PDT rule, and these funded account programs are allowed. Top Step gives you a demo. Test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose the monthly subscription. The base one is $50 basically. $50 risk, not the end of the world. Much better than risking thousands by funding your own account. But if you fail, you're only out $50, and if you pass it, you get a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K. They paid out over $150 million. Great way to help support the channel. I'm biased because I get paid by them. I'm an affiliate of theirs. And so top 3 most biased trader of all time. Top 3 most shameless plug of all time ever in the world right now. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. With that said and out the way, if you want to check it out, link is in the description. We are on a 4-day green streak, and we're going to keep day trading. Look at the market pump up here, guys. Inflation data saved the market today, I guess. Still a little early, though. Yeah, honestly, we needed this. Hey, congrats, Chain. Nice. The inflation data coming in low is much better than the inflation data coming in high. Thank you for that very perceptive commentary. Water's wet, guys. Well, listen, water. I'm gonna give you guys a super important thing. Okay, less inflation is good. All right, less inflation is good. I know it's a shock. Less inflation is good. Water is wet. John's top 3 at everything. I love you all. Y'all have a piece of my heart here at Beginner Trading. Thanks so much. The sky is blue. Yeah, honestly, we needed this inflation data coming in low. It doesn't mean anything yet. Look at that support level, though. I'm not gonna like toot my own horn with this level that I drew. I don't know when I drew this level. Look at that level, bro. Dude, I got some of the top 3 best levels of all time. Look at that. Literally touched it, tapped it. You're welcome. Don't copy me. You might lose. Yeah, we got Michigan consumer sentiment coming out later on today. So honestly, we got a couple big things. Stick around. We're going to day trade the opening bell live as well, like we always do. But again, inflation data look good, guys. Inflation data look good. question is, are you buying this dip? Is this dippy enough of a dip for you to buy the dip? Chat, let me know. What do you guys think? Is this a dippy enough dip? Is this a dippy enough dip, guys? Let me know what you guys think. Oof, strong coffee. Let's see if we retest this level here. Where's gold at, right? We talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's honestly reacting positively to this as well. It's back up to 95K. All right, guys. So far, so good here. So far, so good. Let's see if this continues. I would love this to continue, chat. Love it to continue. We still got thousands of people here. Again, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I'm pretty sure we just broke today 151,000. Maybe we're at 152K. Oh, we did. We need 27 subscribers to break 152,000. I'm not going to pressure you to do it, but if you don't, I'll hate you forever. Do it now, guys. Do it now. Subscribe one time. Of course, I'm just joking. Kind of. Yeah, subscribe. Hit the notification bell, guys. We still got time. We're going to day trade the opening bell. Look at that support level, though, dude. I'm a resistance level, I guess I should say. Let me catch back up on the chat. Why would you want it to continue? We should all want the market to go up, guys, right? Like, the market going down is not good for anybody, right? The market, people suffer as the market drops more and more, you know? So, like, a correction's fine. But I don't want the market to go down significantly. Nobody really should. And if you find yourself in that position where you're wanting the market to go down, it usually means you missed out on investments or you're shorting something. Now, I'm not saying a correction isn't healthy, but of course I want the market to go up. Everybody should. You're an S tier, man. Love your work. Thanks so much, Marcus. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. Was the economic data bullish? Yes, inflation data better than expected, lower prices than expected. The Fed, again, to put this into perspective, right? The Fed looks at core PCE as its inflationary gauge for the economy, right? Retail, like, we like to look at CPI inflation, right? CPI inflation is what we cover. We actually get, we get anywhere between like 3,000 to 5,000 people here watching CPI. So CPI is actually a much more watched inflation metric. But the Fed themselves, Big Papa Jerome Powell, looks specifically at PCE inflation, right? It stands for the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. It is inflation data based around consumption, right? And they look at this as a more accurate gauge of inflation. And remember, guys, like I said, sometimes the first move is the wrong move. So we're not out the woods yet. This doesn't mean anything too heavy. Market's still down a lot. You know, I'm not confident enough to buy this dip either. Right? Like, I'm not confident enough to buy this dip. We certainly could do something like this. And again, I'm just not interested in buying this yet. I'm going to wait. Again, I'm going to wait. I'm going to start watching you. This is my first day. Hey, thank you, Files. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Great stuff as always. Thank you, bro. Yeah, again, like the only thing I can help you with today, guys, is number one, I cover this as soon as it comes out. Number two, I told you guys Jerome Powell gave a little bit of a clue last week or a couple days ago. During the FOMC meeting, Powell, he was getting kind of some heat, right? And so I think he gave a little clue, and he said something around the lines of PCE inflation this month looked good, right? Looked low. And so he gave us a little clue on Wednesday, which is very rare, right? Almost they never, like, because they understand if people know what the data is going to be, they can front load into that data, right? So, but Jerome Powell did give us a clue. As I said right before this report, he did say PCE inflation came in a little bit, you know, a little bit better, a little bit lower. Now, again, it doesn't mean anything yet. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, and we could certainly correct. I'm not confident enough to buy this dip. I'll put it that way. But my resistance level, look at that. Honestly, I gotta start leaving more long-term chart levels that I draw up. Especially like yesterday on Top Step TV, it was the same thing. Like, my levels are on point. I gotta start trusting my levels more, I think. Hey, thank you. Yeah, if you want to see the Bear versus Santa Battle Royale, join our Discord. I'm not scared to buy as long as I'm dollar cost averaging into it. Right? Like if he DCA, I'm okay with it, right? But I'm definitely not buying. Like, again, I'm going to wait, right? I'm a big believer in waiting. You know? It's tired, Chad. And again, we're going to be day trading live in the futures market. Maybe I should have bought the dip. Look at the bounce. Still too early, though. But good inflation data doesn't mean anything. Again, today is quad witching day, a day of historical volatility in which major contract types expire. There's no such thing as single stock futures, so it's technically triple witching day. But today, at the end of the day today, we have index options, stock options, and index futures all expiring at the end of day today. It is a day of historical volatility, quad witch, triple witching day. And the market's been a little chaotic over the past 2 days here, chat. Little crazy here, no? Tesla's back up to 430s though. Nvidia's back up to 130. Bitcoin's back up to 96K roughly, or close to it. Maybe Bitcoin futures are at least. The SPY itself is at 580s. The NASDAQ itself is at 510s roughly, just under 510s. And the market has reacted favorably to the lower than expected inflation data today. We'll see if we continue. Remember, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment coming out later. Did I get that subs that I need? Let me see. Did I get it? I'm just going to put it out there and believe I did get it. We got 152,000 subscribers. Thanks so much. You know, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. We got a good community here. We really do. We got a good community here. Good group of traders. Good community. I think we're one of the most reasonable, definitely top 3 communities of all time ever in the world. Again, we're going to see if we can go. We're on a 4-day green streak on Top Step X. Again, just to show you, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit and talk about my stats. We've been in a testing phase, so the sizing I'm using is incredibly small size, right? Just to be honest about it. But I've been testing systems for the last couple weeks, last month, really. And this is the stats, right? These are the stats. Again, I'm going to hide how much I'm actually up or down because it doesn't freaking matter, right? Really, it doesn't freaking matter. But we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about it here, guys. Here, hold on. I got to hide my stats here. Or not my stats. I got to hide how much I'm up or down. But check it out, dude. I'm pretty pumped. Like, look at this. These are my stats in my testing phase. We have only had, let's count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 3 losing trades out of 18. 3 losing trades out of 18. Or 3 losing days, I'm sorry, out of 18. So we are running well over 80% daily accuracy. I'll take it, guys. I'll take it. Not bad. We're going to hope it continues today. I just got to stay in the realm of, risk management. Hey, thank you, Jorge. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Wait, did we have a ban that I didn't see? You're working hard, man, with good knowledge. Thank you. Nicholas, thank you. I appreciate it. 9:30 more fireworks. We'll see, bro. I'll see. Let's see the numbers. The numbers, kind sir, are right here. Core PCE 0.1% versus 0.2% expected, 2.8% versus 2.9% expected. Regular PCE 2.4% versus 2.5% expected. Chat. So these are the numbers right here. You're welcome. Those are the numbers. We'll see. Again, you can also see Tesla rebounding, still red on the day. You can see Nvidia rebounding, still technically red on the day though. And then up here, chat, way up here, you can kind of see the QQQ rebounding here, still green on the, or still red on the day. So most things are still red, but it's definitely a little bit better looking right now. A little bit better looking. It doesn't mean it's going to hold. Okay. You think AMD is the golden ticket? I don't think anything's necessarily the golden ticket, right? So like, I don't think anything's that definitive. We could have good probabilities, bad probabilities in certain investments and stocks, right? But nothing is certainty, I would say. Yeah, it's too early to call this a Santa rally, but we are bouncing back from the big red action that we got earlier, so that's good. Again, stick around. We are going to be day trading. All right, so we're back up here. Let me do another poll. Did I end the poll? No. So we asked people, do we correct over 10% in the following month? 60% think yes. 40% think no. I really don't know what we do there. I really don't. I don't know gamer next door. I really don't know there, brother. Is the market closed Christmas Eve? I'm guessing it's not, right? I vaguely remember last Christmas Eve the market dumped, but I can't remember. Hey, nice files. Tesla huge. Yeah. All right, so we're testing the support level we drew. Honestly, I really got to reinforce. I got to pay attention to my levels more, right? I think one thing that I'm apparently good at is isolating levels on charts. And, you know, I think I realized that even more so on Top Step TV yesterday. Top Step TV, he asked me for some levels, and you know, I gave him 430, or was it 280 on a chart, and we literally held that level beautifully, confirmed multiple times off of it. I got to stick to my levels more. And so we'll see if we can. Yeah, so it is quad witching day. All major contract types expire. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna stream Christmas Eve then if it's open on Christmas Eve. Huge. Also, guys, if you haven't already, again, check out Top Step. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell. There's a break of the NASDAQ. When I day trade the NQ in futures, again, it took me so long to go from futures, or from stocks to futures. I never realized, like, the NQ in futures is the QQQ price action. The S&P E-mini is the SPY price action, right? It's what the SPY and the Q look at is the futures market. And so the patterns are similar. No PDT rule. You can get your feet wet on Top Step. Limit your risk. Most day traders lose. So it doesn't matter how much you put up. Most day traders are gonna lose regardless of where they go. And I think it's probably the same here because most day traders just lose. I think it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. If you pass it, you get a 90% split. So your risk is limited. Reward's similar. It just makes sense, guys. It makes sense. Definitely one of the top 3 most biased traders ever, though. But if you want to check it out, there's the link. What's up, Sam? Rates should always be this high for a healthy market. Rates? I mean, interest rates are not super, like, on average high. Like, look, so Nvidia testing the previous close, about to go green on the day if it breaks over it. We did top that high real quick, or we at least tested it. Q is still red on the day, but Tesla's coming back up too. So a lot of stuff's starting to rebound and try to go green on the day at this point in time, chat. I'm in the 50K. At 10 a.m. we have the Michigan consumer sentiment data. Hey, baby. All right, guys. Yeah, I didn't set it up though. I think for the new mic, I'm unmuted now, by the way. So no, the new mic, I don't think it has a stand that I can use. Right, so like if I set it up, I'm gonna have to. It'll take me longer. I'll have to set it up when I get home. I would bring it, but like it doesn't have a stand. All right, guys, so we're pulling back a little bit here too. Again, trying to go green on the day, but not quite yet. We rejected that previous closing price. We'll see if this is rejecting strength and if we head back down. This does look obviously like a bull flag. If you want to know why they call it a bull flag here, guys, it's because of this. Here's the pole, flag, bull flag, right? Now, I don't know if we're going to do that, but that's what it looks like so far. We've still got some time until the opening bell here for sure. Yeah, the thing about pack money, right? Like, again, you can kind of see it in instances of, like, cannabis legalization, right? Like, again, and this might ruffle some feathers, but, like, and again, if you look at it even from, like, a religious standpoint, right? Which I'm not going to go into that, but cannabis is objectively less harmful than alcohol and a lot of modern synthetic relief drugs, like pain relief drugs. A lot of the modern synthetic ones cause massive physical dependence, and I think the pharmaceutical companies want that to a certain extent. Cannabis, not really any physical withdrawal symptoms, can help a lot of the modern day ailments, and it's mostly natural, right? It's about a lot more natural than some of these synthetic things that they're making. I'll put it that way. Yet the prohibition of cannabis is still going on in a lot of parts of the United States, and every politician says they're going to legalize it. They're like, oh, we're going to, and this is why I don't like cannabis stocks too. Like, cannabis stocks got really big 5-6 years ago. The reason I don't like cannabis stocks is because every politician comes out and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to legalize it, guys. But deep down, they're getting so much PAC money from lobby, and there's so many lobbyists against it, right? From big pharmaceutical industries. And so they say one thing and do another because they're getting too much dinero from people who have an incentive to keep it illegal, right? And so I don't like cannabis stocks because of it. I think it's risky. I don't think every politician, some of them are like, yeah, we're going to legalize it. Then they never do. And so they just end up kind of telling people what they want to hear, but then taking the money from people who want to keep it prohibited, essentially. And again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's objectively less harmful than alcohol, right? And I think, like, even if you look at it from a gateway drug perspective, I say this at least once every month or two, but even if you look at it from a gateway drug perspective, cannabis is a gateway drug because you go to an illegal drug dealer, and eventually that illegal drug dealer is going to offer you some other sketchy stuff, and that's why it's a gateway drug. If you legalized it, regulated it, and put it in dispensaries, it wouldn't be the gateway drug that they claim it is, right? The reason it's a gateway drug is because it's illegal. And so it's kind of a ridiculous argument there too. But, I don't think they're ever I think it's gonna take a long time to get fully for these cannabis stocks. Like, we watch like ACB. ACB is a symbol we watch, right? ACB is not looking great. We got CGC, Cannabis Growth Company, still looking a little rough. What's the other big one? There's a couple big ones, but they got really hyped up a few years ago, and now they just kind of fade back down. That's not, I think D mines, I think you completely missed the point, brother. You missed the point. The reason I'm saying it's objectively less harmful than alcohol is because alcohol is sold at gas stations across the country. And so we can't sell alcohol at gas stations across the country and then prohibit something that's very much objectively less harmful than the same thing we sell at gas stations. It's about having a reasonable, even standard of legalization. Right? Like, one thing can't be much worse than the other, yet it's legal and the other thing's not. It's a silly thing, right? It's a silly thing. And honestly, people are going to consume it regardless of whether it's illegal, right? By keeping it illegal, it makes much more problems than legal, So, but again, it's arguable, I guess. I am using Top Step X. Top Step X has 0 commissions in futures too, so it's nice. Yeah, some people, yeah, for sure, that's how it goes. Anyone can explain what effect triple witching generally has on the market during the day? Well, I look back at history using AI, and I look back on it, and it showed that usually we have a small red day on triple witching or quad witching. I look back at the last 20 instances of triple witching, quad witching, and usually we drop like 0.3 to 0.6%, I think, right? I'm not 100% sure, have no idea what we're going to do today. Usually that's what we get from it. And so it's always on a Friday, right? Like it's always on a Friday. Fridays typically are a little bit lower volatility, but we'll have to see what happens. So chart patterns can work on the 1 minute time frame. Sure, they can. They also might not. It just depends. Yeah, I mean, I have ADHD, but I prefer not to be on any type of thing like that just because, like, I have bad ADHD. Like, it's, you know, like, I find myself interrupting people when I don't mean to. Some people say I hijack the conversation. I'm really just trying to relate to people by giving my own, like, instance of what they're saying. But, you know, I think, like, with ADHD, you get so, like, it's hard to explain. But it's also kind of, like, useful. Like, ADHD can be useful because if you're interested in something, you can hyper-focus onto that thing, right? Like, I tried ADHD medication for a while. It didn't help. It made me sit and, like, I just didn't like it. You know, I like sleeping. I like eating, you know. Yeah. Anyways, we're testing these highs again after a good inflation data. And again, I'm not even like a user of cannabis, of course. Like, I'm married. I got kids. Like, I honestly, I don't have the personality that can use it. I get too anxious, and like it just makes anxiety much worse, right? So it's not something that I use. I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm just saying, in terms of like legalization, I think we're wasting a lot of tax dollars is my issue. Like, we're just wasting tax dollars. All right, we're moving up. Hey, buddy, Bruce. Hey, Bubba, Bruce. Here, baby, just be careful. Like,
You want to say bye to him?
here, I'm gonna say bye to my dog real quick.
Hey, Bubba, that's your good boy. You a good boy, huh? Yeah, that's a good boy. I know, buddy. I know, dude. That's a good boy. All right, buddy.
I'll see you, buddy. See you, Bruce. All right, baby. Love you. All right. Bruce is coming back. Yeah, Bruce is coming back. We got to do some Christmas shopping, so Bruce is going to a doggy daycare, so he doesn't have to sit at home in his crate all day. So he's coming back. We'll see him later on tonight or whatever. Yeah, I mean, let's try to not bring it super religious here, guys. I'm not trying to be super... No religion, no politics here. Let's keep it, you know, friendly here. Let's not go into that. Hey, what's up, Relentless, my guy? What's up, brother? Hey, have a good day, Relentless. Good luck. I hope you're making some money this holiday season, brother. Shout out to Relentless. Y'all go check his channel out. Relentless has got a great channel. Y'all go check it out. No, Bruce is already fixed, by the way. So we're, you know, but no, he's already lived that trauma. Hey, thank you, Davey. Thanks, brother. Hey, what's up, Rod? Hey, congrats, brother. Hope you're doing good, dude. No. All right, so look at this dip. We are falling back down on the NASDAQ here. This support and resistance level seems to be confirming right now. We'll watch this level close to the opening bell. Hey, thank you, David. Yeah, bro. Honestly, my levels were on point yesterday in the NASDAQ. And the trade plan I called out worked to a T, like literally perfect. I'm kind of bummed. Me and Dolby both missed the last trade. But it did build some confidence because literally exactly what I said would happen happened. Exactly what I wanted to happen happened down to the T of the level. We just missed the last one, unfortunately. But again, it did build confidence. That 280 level held perfectly. Maybe it was 380. But yeah. We'll document some levels leading into the opening bell today too. Is this a bull trap? I don't know. Can you look at Bitcoin chart? I think Bitcoin's back up after inflation data was better. And I guess like there's a logic of like maybe Bitcoin benefits from low inflation. More people can afford it or something. I don't know. Are people really calling this a market crash? People really calling this a market crash, guys? Come on now. Sup, John? Lower inflation means they won't do anything with rates, which the market doesn't appreciate. Correct? Well, I mean, you got to look at it a couple different ways, right? Like, really, we're seeing good data on both sides. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, yesterday we had GDP data and jobless claims unemployment filings, right? GDP data was strong. It came in at 3.1%, which is higher than expected at 2.9%, 2.8%. So we showed up noticeably higher for GDP than expected. Jobless claims unemployment filings were also down, which shows less people filing for unemployment, right? So in terms of economic strength or weakness, we're showing economic strength, right? And so that means we're less likely to cut rates because we cut rates if the economy shows signs of weakness or to prevent weakness in the economy, right? So it's less of a need to cut rates aggressively. That's number one. Today, we have lower inflation data, which shows good inflation data, right? Which is kind of the other end of that, right? Like the lower inflation data is the more we can, in theory, cut rates without fearing, I guess is the easiest way to put it, right? Like, so the consequence of cutting rates and stimulating the economy in that regard by bringing interest rates down. When interest rates are lower, people have cheaper access to loans and money and leverage, right? So they tend to spend more, and that can make inflation spike. So if inflation data is showing a little bit better than expected numbers, that might mean we're somewhere in the middle, right? It means that if inflation data was high, we'd be even less likely to cut rates because the consequence of cutting rates could be inflation. But with inflation data good as well as a strong economy, it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's low inflation and a strong economy is what we're showing right now. Again, I'm not saying this is going to continue. I'm just looking at the actual numbers behind the data here. Hey, thank you, Yair. What's your take on the long wick candles PL with 5 minutes? Explain it a little bit more. I'm not sure. But I appreciate the donation. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's easier to label everything a crash. You get more attention and views from it. But this is not a crash, right? Like, obviously, it's not a crash. No, so there's no unemployment numbers today. I don't know when the next... Next non-farm payroll report shows up January 10th. January 10th. I think. Yeah, 20 days, January 10th. So we got a couple weeks. The next couple weeks are slow. It's the holiday week. We got New Year's and Christmas, right? So it's pretty slow couple weeks that we're going to see here, to be honest. I mean, we're down 5%, 6% right now. So, I mean, it's definitely not a crash. It's not even technically a correction. So... All right, guys, does the market crash today? We are going to be day trading live at the opening bell, chat. Day trading live. We still got 20 minutes left. All right. All right, Chad. So we got some data coming out later on today at 10 a.m. We got Michigan consumer sentiment data. So today is quad witching day. Or triple witching day. Technically it's just triple, but I'm going to call it quad because that's the name. We have what's called Michigan consumer sentiment data coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in about 52 minutes or so, 51 minutes right now. So Michigan consumer sentiment data comes out. I'll put a timer up for that. It's not a huge release, but it's relevant. We'll see what happens. Yeah, does the market bounce back here, chat? We're kind of flat and stagnating here. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a little buy here. See if we pop back up. We're already green on the day. I'm going to take a little baby trade. So we're green on the day, though, so we'll take the greenness so far. See if we bounce at my little support level. We've gone chopping back and forth over and over again. See if we can creep back up, fight our way back up. We might add a little bit to this too. 2 contracts. All right, so we got 2 contracts here. I think my headphones just died. Great. Can't really watch this as closely now. Great. Honestly, I'm kind of bummed out because, like, I wasn't able to watch this as easy because of this. I'm going to take half of this off, lock in some like, a little bit of a loss there and see if we can retrace back up. Why can't I hear anything? Wondering if like my headphones are just down too much. What do I want to do here? Weird, I'm wondering why it's down so much. I don't know if these headphones are dying or what's going on with them. I'll have to turn these off. Put these on. See if these are dead too. There we go. Oh, I know what I need to do. Let me. There we go. All right, so we got these in. Okay. We can kind of vaguely hear the music here. Alright, so we're still slightly red on this last little piece here. Kind of break even on the day. Now, let me know if you can hear the music. Can you hear this? Can you hear the music well? Let me know. I don't know if I want to add to this too. I'll take one piece here, add to it. Let's check the chat. My voice is music to your ears. Yep, this is top 3 greatest voices ever right now. Alright, we took half off there, we locked it in. We got a flat. No, that's a bummer. Might add to this piece now. Took half off there, locked in a nice little gain, cut out the rest there. So yeah, we just made our money back. We're green on the day now, I think. Yes, we're green. Should have maybe held it too. I think we could push up and retest highs, but I think we're also kind of choppy, picking up some steam. Can you hear the music? Though, chat, can you hear the music at home? I can barely hear it. I don't know why it's coming in so low. Okay, that's better. Now I can hear it. Yes, volume's good. Okay, cool. All right, NVIDIA at 130s here, guys. We got 15 minutes. Let's call it music. You want me to change the song? Yeah, I just listen to like lo-fi music. That's what I listen to here, chat. Yeah, so I'm here. Another little flat move. Peloton next Carvana, I don't know. All right, guys, we got the opening about 15 minutes. I'm kind of rocking out in my head. If you don't like this music, I'm just going to assume you're older, right? You know, and it's kind of funny. Like, you see these older generations. I'm not making fun of you. It's all love here, right? Like, I think some of the super, like, new music is terrible. And so I think it's kind of, like, pretty consistent generation to generation, while the older generations dislike the new generation's music. But, most, like, people listen to, like, lo-fi hip-hop, I would say, that are under 45. If you're older than 45, you're probably still on kind of like rock, you know. And again, can y'all really make fun of us liking glam metal? You know what I mean? I'm not judging you if you like glam metal here, okay? I'm not judging, all right? But, you know, can you really make fun? Like, come on now. I'm 69 years young. Is that too young or too old? Nah, bro. You're good, sir. I'm gonna start calling you sir, though. Bro, I went out shopping yesterday, dude. It was chaos. I hate it. I hate shopping already. It's even worse. Oh, I'm definitely judging. Right, this music's busting. No cap, no cap. You know. Cheers to the cap, sir. Is that right? Oh, wait, that's not right. Wait, no, okay. This music is low-key bussin'. Know what I'm saying? Did I do it? No cap, no cap. This music is low-key bussin', no cap. You know, it's not skibbity. You know. Yep. I got a 15-year-old. I mean, you know. So I know these things. I'm hip. I'm cool, guys. Again, when I was young, it was like fresh. Or no. Fresh was real. Like, yeah, we use like fresh. Tight. Like, that's a tight truck over there. That's a tight car over there. That's a tight book over there, right? Like, we use tight. Do y'all still say tight? Do young people still say it? I don't think so. And again, if you're really old, you can't make fun either, because y'all were saying groovy. That's a groovy truck over there. That's a groovy book that I read yesterday. And then the 90s. I'm trying to think of the 90s. 90 was rad. Dope. That's a rad book. That's a rad truck. Brah. And then what else we got? And then the early 2000s was kind of, you know. Yeah, they still say bad. All right, guys, we're back up over that support and resistance line, but we're very choppy, and honestly, it's kind of an ascending trend line if we're looking at it. Hey, look. That's an ascending trend line. We'll see what happens here, but the trend line is ascending. Sick. Yeah, sick was kind of around when I was, you know. A lot of young people nowadays, like Gen Z, they don't understand that they're just reusing our slang. Right, so like we used to say, keep it on the down low, or like we're gonna be, you know, low key going to the store, right? Like keep it on the down low, low key. Like that was our slang, right? They're just reusing that. Same thing with like mid. Saying mid is a play on mid grade, right? Like mid grade was like a mix between good and bad. You know what, and so they, you know, they've shortened it and they just say mid, and then that's found its way over to Gen Z, who are still using it to describe things, and so a lot of slang's just recycled, is what you learned. Anyways, we're back over the support and resistance line. Yeah, you're about my age, Files. I'm a little bit, you know, I'm not gonna say how old I am. I'm a little bit younger than that, but it's close enough, right? I'm in my 30s. Oh, for sure. I can agree. It's definitely dumb. Who's Felix? Who's Felix? You were born in 88, so you are 35? 36. Doing the Laffy Taffy? Right. Yeah, they've got some new wobble dance, right? I grew up with 504 Boys wobble wobble. Let me see you shake it type music, right? Like that was my generation. Now they've kind of redone the wobble. I don't even know what the wobble is, but I saw some video on social media about it. It's just not the same, right? Again, they're recycling our stuff too. All right, guys, so we're moving up to test highs here. Data was good. We came in lower than expected for inflation data. Waffle says, I'm 20, watching this on my free time. Hey, welcome, brother. Listen, you need to be our concierge towards young people coolness, right? Like, because I'm definitely not cool, right? And we need like a consultant from the younger generations. Maybe you could be that, bro. Maybe you could be that. What's up, Mario? Yeah, inflation data was good, though. All right. Bitcoin still under 96K. Getting a little closer, though. Not going to stand by and be fine with IQ decline. Is that a bar, sir? You know, it rhymed. You know, you're contributing to it right now. Yeah, it's cold outside. I'm just hoping we don't get like a hot. I'm from Louisiana, you know, so like we get warm Christmases every now and then. I'm just hoping we don't get it. I want a cold Christmas, you know. Yeah, I'm old enough to where I used to say ballin'. Like that guy's ballin'. Who was the guy? Jules Santana? What was the guy that sung that song? It's something like that. I know that's no longer cool either because nobody understands it if you say it, you know. Yeah. Word. Yeah. How's it going with your water bill? I mean, not good. My water bill's still high. I don't have time to deal with it right now. We'll deal with it next year. Yeah. All right, guys. We're waiting here, waiting for the opening bell. We got 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left. We're going to day trade live. We're up on the day, small. Let's see if we can build that up to be large. Jim Jones. Yeah, you're right. It is Jim Jones. I see some people referencing Felix. Who is Felix? Is there a Felix in chat that I can't see? Yeah, you're good, not so boring. I was just kind of messing with you, brother. It's all good. All right, market's pulling back to that support level. Again, I'm not taking any more trades. We're really range bound. We got a little bit of an ascending triangle wedge flag pattern thing. I'm not going to mess with it right now, though. I'm going to wait 5 minutes until the market opens first. Yeah, the whole slaps thing, this slaps, is way past my generation. All right, that's too young for me. I'm not cool enough to say it. You know. I think it also depends on when you had kids, right? Because like I know some people that didn't have kids and they're still my age and they're still trying to be cool, right? They're still dressing like they're 12, you know, and they're probably using slang like that too. But again, I'm not judging you if you do. But I think it also depends on when you have kids. I think one thing having kids does is it makes you not cool anymore, right? So I think people I think some people are still trying to be cool. And I think once you have kids, you realize you're just not cool. You know, I got a 15-year-old. I'm not cool at all, right? I've grown past the need to be cool too. But I think some people are still kind of holding on to it. Yeah, I'm from Louisiana. So a lot of people I know were like 40 years old trying to be rappers, but they're from the suburbs, you know? And so like, you know, and it's interesting, like the ones that are never had kids, right? So they're still trying to like, look how cool I am, guys. I've got the fresh rhymes, you know? And it's just like, all right. I just kind of look at them, you know? If it was like a riff-raff, sarcastic rapper, fine. Sure, do that. Do your thing. I'm not mad at that, right? But to try to be like a non-ironic, like 40-year-old suburban gangster, I'm just, I don't even know what to say to him. And again, I'm kind of a rap nerd. So like, I like rap music. I listen to rap music still. Wait, what? Oh my, I think this headset's dying too. The dad jokes? Dude, I don't really have any dad jokes like that. Yeah, the market's flat, guys, so I'm just rambling over here. Don't mind me. I'm just sitting here rambling. Market's testing that high of, is this the high of the day? I don't know. I can't imagine it is. No, it's not. It's testing the highs of the last like 4 hours though. So we'll see if we break it. Rejecting back down. I'm waiting to the opening bell in 2 minutes. Are you saying them kids are more intelligent, more tech savvy, more knowledgeable? No, I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying they're cooler than I am. Right, you know, cooler means... Cool and intelligence is certainly not synonymous. So, yeah. You know how it goes. Listen, when you're 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, I would say it probably ends around 24, 25. You're still trying to be cool. You're still trying to use the newest slang terms, right? The newest terminology. You're trying to be, like, you know, in with what's cool in pop culture and all that stuff. And then you turn 30 and you realize, like, hey, I'm just not cool anymore. Like, I don't know what those kids are doing nowadays, right? That's all I'm saying. All right, here's the opening bell, guys. I'm going to stop rambling. Here's the opening bell. Good luck. Market's very flat, very boring. PCE inflation data came in lower than expected. Still helping the market move up. Kendrick. Somebody said Kendrick or Drake. Of course Kendrick, right? Although I don't dislike Drake either, right? Like some of Drake's got some good songs. I'm not like a Drake hater, but he definitely lost that exchange. Anyways, NASDAQ up here. Tesla at 425s. Is it not anymore, Max? Yeah, again, I'm not cool. I don't know if it is or not. All right, guys, here we got 10 seconds here, chat. We're going to get ready to day trade. Guys, we're getting ready to day trade. And here's the bell. There's the bell. We're going to let 5 minutes pass until the opening bell first. Let all this play out first. All right, guys, market's open, but we're still kind of flat, choppy, boring. Let's see if we move up a little bit here, though. Let me look at some levels here. I'm going to draw some levels on charts right now. while we wait for some good stuff to happen. First off, I'm looking at this level too. Above us, I'm gonna look at this level here. And these are the 3 levels I'm watching the closest right now. Very flat price action though, and I think we gotta draw a little bit smaller level right around here. So, see if we can find some risk reward, favorable trades, risk reward wise. Well, some of it's lo-fi. Others, like, look. Yeah, I got a lo-fi playlist. I'll play that for you guys. All right. All right, guys. Very rangy open here. We haven't really done much. Yeah, pretty slow open. Not much going on yet. We're gonna wait, see if we can find anything good. Look at this red action here, chat. So we're dropping significantly at the opening bell here. We're 3 minutes into the open so far, not quite 3. I'm gonna short. I don't usually take trades this early, but I'm gonna short, see if we can get some a little bit of a breakdown here. Catch it. All right, we made a little $16 there, not bad. Big retracement candle here though. Look at that retracement candle. Wow. Let's see if it turns around. Sam, I didn't see your joke, bro. Was it a joke? Let me see. I don't know where it's at. I'll dig one out just so as to uphold expectations. What? Yeah, I missed the joke. Market's waiting for us to avoid a shutdown. Watch Nvidia dip a little bit here. Bitcoin's still kind of fighting its way back up. Why did... Oh. Yeah. Because it has like a religious person in it, Sam, I can't say it personally, but... but I like it. I like it. All right, guys. Small range open. Still green a little bit from PCE inflation. All right, look at this whole rebound back up here, chat. We've gotten into one trade since the opening bell, just one. We've got a cushion on the day now. I'm gonna buy this dip. See if we can make something from this. We bought the dip. I want to see if it starts heading back up, but we took half off there just to limit our risk. See if the rest can go with smaller size. Oof, what a drop. So volatile here, guys. I'm gonna cut this. We ended up losing a little bit. We're still green on the day, but we're so choppy right now. It's hard to figure out what we're gonna do. There's a move back up, so we can get over this big resistance level. So choppy right now, though, chat. Kind of boring, in all honesty. It is quad witching day. Look at that move here. We'll buy a pullback if we get it now. Oh, I was gonna buy it right there. I missed it. See if we retrace some. I think we're gonna start heading up, but might be wrong. All right, we bought this dip. We take 2 contracts here. Oof. What a turn on me. Yeah, I gotta cut it. So we ended up losing a chunk there. I'm gonna switch accounts, put us on our other account here. See if we can make some money on our other account right now, because this one definitely ain't doing great. Very choppy action. We'll see which way we break the chop, though. You know, we'll see which way we break the chop. Big choppy action. Waiting here. Now we're right back up too. Looks like market wants to move back up, but who knows? I'm gonna wait. Oh man. See if we come back down. Yeah, getting ripped up. So my dip buy would have worked here, I think, chat. Let's see if we start to fly higher here. So I see Nvidia, Tesla, a lot of stuff coming back. What a move. Let's see if we hold. Look at this green candle coming through here, chat. Tesla, pop it up. What a move. Powerful move up here, chat. Powerful. Huge, huge green action coming through in markets right now. A lot of shorts are getting squeezed out too. What a candle here, guys. Wow. What a candle here, chat. Crazy. Look at this. Wow. Look at this movement. Yeah. We'll try to buy this dip now too. That's a pretty strong move. We got 2 contracts here. We took half off there, locked it in. Buy a dip here too, 2 contracts. Took a little bit more off there. Go ahead and get the rest out there. So a little $25 gain on this one. And see, we had that little dip right there that we're pulling back into. Part of me wants to buy it, but I'll wait. Things look like they want to come back. I want to see where the SPY and the NASDAQ previous closing price is. Look at the Q, rip it up. What a crazy movement here, chat. Okay, so we got a little cushion on the day. It's not great. Did my headphones just die again? Crap. As long as y'all can hear the music, it's good. My headphones just died again too, I think. I'm going to add to this 2 contracts. It might not be my day to trade. We're kind of getting a big range, but choppy, so getting a lot of lack of continuations here, guys. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it. Yeah, honestly, it's not easy day to trade. Not for me, at least. Like, we're getting big moves up and then big moves down and then big moves up and then big moves down. So we might switch and trade a challenge account for now until we get some better price action. See if we can get one of those closer to funding. Look at this move down here. Crazy. All right, so we might switch. We're not red on this one for sure on the day. Let me switch to, we got a combine account here we'll play with. See if we can work it up. The goal is to make $1,500 in profit. And so we're going to take some larger size. It's going to be different on this account just to put it in perspective. I'm going to buy this dip. We're going to add into it with some size. Try to get up to that, like I said, that level here. Oh, we got an immediate pullback. We locked in a couple bucks though. Take another piece off. If we get really deep in the green, we'll add some size back to this too. There we go. There we go. All right, so we are now up $500 in this thing. I'm gonna buy this dip too. We're gonna have to add into it. We got a cushion now that we can play with. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we're up about 1,000 in this. So we're gonna buy this dip. We got about 1,000 in profit, but we have to be careful now. I'm gonna cut this. We'll give it a chance to move up, but we'll cut this if it turns on us fast. Okay, now we're back to green. Still up there, but okay, so we lost a couple $100 there. Yeah, and again, guys, one thing that I see is, hey, thank you, MB. Yeah, one thing I see is I see a lot of emotion floating around by traders, right? Like, listen, guys, nobody knows if we're gonna be bullish or bearish for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of this year, right? And I see a lot of people, like, so many people are emotional to one side or the other. And definitive, they're like, oh, we're gonna do this, oh, we're gonna do that, right? Like, listen, nobody freaking knows what we're gonna do. Nobody does, right? And when we're too bullish or bearish on one side, it just shows emotion. So just look, nobody freaking knows if we're gonna go up, down, or sideways, especially not in day trading short term. And so it's fine to give out like, hey, I think this is gonna happen, I think this is gonna happen. But I see a lot of people in the chat being like, this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen, right? And nobody knows. And the more people try to act like they know, the less experience I think they generally have, right? I mean, from PCE, we're obviously bullish. This is where PCE data came out right here, right? So we're at least at this point in time, that's where PCE data came out. We have done this since PCE data came out. Now, it doesn't mean we're gonna hold this, right? Like today's quad witching day, we could show choppiness like afterwards too. But the overarching point I'm trying to make is like nobody knows. And so pressuring people to take a trade in one way or other on super short-term scalping price action, you know. Warren doesn't know either short-term. Yeah, the market's like a box of chocolate. I like that. All right, we're gonna buy this dip, see if we can catch it. We got a cushion, and we're slowly giving away our cushion here. So we just gave away our cushion. It's a challenge account, though. You don't love to see it. All right, we're gonna go crazy big size and just risk this, because it's quad wishing day. We gotta have some fun here. Should I let the chat control this account? There we go. Well, we're back up 1,000. We made all that right back. Buying on the retracement here. We need $500 left to get this where we want it. $500. There's 150. All right, so now we're about 350 away from it. That type of mindset. What type of mindset? Definitive statements? Yeah, like thinking we gotta go one way or another. Nobody knows, man. Can y'all hear the music? Is it like a little bit? It's coming out of my monitor right now, so I don't know if y'all can hear like an echo or anything. If so, let me know. I'll just turn it down. Here, I know what I can do. I can turn it down here. Oh no, y'all, it actually reflects off of that too. Huh? Typically the market ends slightly red on triple witching day, but usually on triple witching day we don't have inflation data come out, right? So it's a little bit different today, but music's fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I gotta charge these headphones is what I need to do. I could also put on these. Here, I know what I can do here, chat. Hold on. I got you guys. Hold on. right, let me know if that's better. All right, so we got the bounce at the 200 exponential, but we also just recently broke over like a pretty big level here. I just need to make another 350 though, so that's what I want is a 350 gain. I'm gonna short this. All right, so we might actually scalp the rest with micros. We have made ourselves $1,200 in profit here now. $1,200 in profit. So I'm gonna go to micros and trade really small. And again, guys, I do trade off stream. You're not gonna see all my trades. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I'm definitely one of the top 3 worst traders ever. We're gonna short this too with 3 contracts. So do not copy me, not an investment professional. If you copy me, you might lose. Ooh, what a move here. Market's freaking weird today, guys. Genuinely strange. I'll add to this, see if we can break down some. The market's odd. There we go. Ooh, I don't like that at all. What a move here. We'll add some. 5 contracts. Flat. I'm have to cut that too. So now we're back to where we're still up about 1,000 now, but see, now I'm shorting the market when all right, so we got 3 contracts here. We got a little room. Let's see if it flushes down. There we go. Took a piece off. A little bit more. A little bit more. Get out there. All right. Today's probably a micro day for me too, just based off of all the action that we're getting. All right, so we got out, only lost $25 on that last little piece. Let's see if we can build this back up. But big movements here, guys. So like, look at this range, right? So just to put this in perspective, here's the opening bell right here. We chopped and then huge run up, huge downfall, huge rebound back up. But overall, we're kind of in like a square, like box, right? So big range, but kind of sideways price action. Bounced right at that 200 exponential though, so that thing looks good. And again, if you haven't already checked out Top Step, I'll put the link up in chat. No PDT in futures. Great way to learn how to trade. And remember, I'm one of the top 3 worst traders of all time ever. This limits my risk. Instead of risking $5, $10, $20, $30,000 trying to trade funding my own account, I can try this and my risk is $50. And so if I lose, which I do all the time, I'm only down $50 versus losing 10, 20, 30 grand like I would if I funded my own account. No PDT in futures, so I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. You can see I'm going to buy this dip. You can see how similar it is to day trading stocks. No PDT restrictions in futures. I can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ. A lot of currencies as well are available on Top Step too. So a lot of Forex traders should be trading this as well. And you can kind of get your feet wet into trading gold, into trading some currencies, into trading the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow. Figure out what you like and test strategies. You still have some pressure, but it's not the full extent of funding your own account. So if you lose, it's $50. But if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split, and they've paid out over 150 million since 2020. Look at that move. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and lock out there. And so again, I'll put this link up. They're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased in their favor. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. You want to confirm all this stuff with them first. I'm not claiming to even be a good trader. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I'm not an investment professional. Don't copy me. You might lose money. Yeah, Sam, you don't need to do the Top Step link. I'm going to plug it myself, and I really don't want to like post too many. So is the government shut down today? I don't know. Again, I really don't know there. All right, so we got about $400 left. I'm gonna try to add into a position here at the bottom, but it's a small size. 4 contracts so far. little piece of it off and we'll add right back too. We got Michigan inflation expectation in 4 minutes, guys. I just realized we got Michigan inflation expectations in 4 minutes. We'll cover it as soon as it drops. Just be ready here. I got to cut this trade before then too. That means. Flat. Trying to move back up. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah. So we only need about 350 left. Inflation data drops in 3 minutes. So we have Michigan. What I mean by inflation data is we have Michigan, what's called Michigan consumer sentiment data coming out in 3 minutes or so. It's the University of Michigan that produces this data. It is expected at 1 year inflation expectations expected at 2.9%, 5 year expected at 3.1%. Consumer sentiment is expected at 74%. 74%. So we'll see what this data shows. Right, it's not a huge release, but it might move the market at least a little bit, and we'll cover it as soon as it drops. All right, so it's not the biggest release, but it might do something, and so we'll wait here. Oh no, all good, Sam. Sorry, I didn't see him with the question. No, it's all good. Yeah, power hour on Quad Witch might be even crazier. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. A minute and a half left. Definitely an interesting market right now. All right, guys, 1 minute here, chat. 1 minute. So what you see me taking right now is a challenge account, which means if I can make 1,500 one day, 1,500 the next, I get funded 50K, 90% split. Market's big range, choppy, sideways, but huge range and big candles. So I just didn't want to get stuck in that. And I think you guys got to just be safe. Is the music too loud? Is that better? Let me know. All right, guys, here's the data release in 15 seconds. 15 seconds for the data to come out. We'll see what it shows. Again, inflation expectations 1 year 2.9, 5 year 3.1. Consumer sentiment 74. And here's the release right now. 2.8% lower inflation expectations and flat consumer sentiment. So this is probably good for markets. Again, lower inflation expectations and flat consumer sentiment. And that's why you see the market. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, but it's not bad data. I would say this is good, optimistic economic data today. But look at that retracement. Wow. Current conditions were a little bit lower than expected, but that's probably the lesser metric for today, but interesting here. Wow. I'm gonna buy this. We'll buy this. Start small here. Add to a green position if we get it. 4, 5, 6. See if we retrace back up, but I don't like this. There's a retracement back up. There we go. I'm gonna take half off there. Take another little piece off there. We're getting very close. Yeah. I'm gonna add a little bit more to this, see if we make this run. But 2 contracts is small. Took that piece off there, lock it in. All right, so we're over 1,200 in profit. We need less than 300 bucks now. Look at my levels holding though, guys. So look at this level held. Now we're running into this resistance level here. And again, guys, so you can kind of see how the economic data can lead the market. And this is why it's important to, like, look, subscribe to this channel because we cover all this economic data. If you want to see something that can influence your trades and markets, subscribe. I'm mostly an economist. I don't even claim to be a good day trader. So if you want to know when the data comes out and all that good stuff and what it all means, so that we can kind of alert you guys on this stuff, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We did break 152K. We're pushing towards 200,000. Thanks so much. This stream alone's got 12,000 views. So thanks so much, chat. We appreciate the love. Let's keep growing. I'm gonna buy this dip. See if we can make that level here. And again, in the end, it's not the end of the world. Even if we lose this, it's 50 bucks. I'm gonna add to it on pullback if we drop. If we get a chance to. Might not. We'll add on them. Took a little bit off there. I wanted to add on a dip. We just never quite got that entry spot. There we go. Alright, so pretty good little string of trades. Less than $200 now is what we need. It's the University of Michigan consumer sentiment data, so it's not just for Michigan. This is done by the University of Michigan. So they compare the relative levels of current and future economic conditions. So again, it's not Michigan data. It's the University of. The reason it's called University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment is because it's the University of Michigan analyzing it. I should have clarified. Yeah, I'm trading a combine right now. The volatility was a little too high for me. I mean, I'm an LSU fan, but I'm from Louisiana, so go Tigers. You know, I'm still kind of mad Dave Portnoy brought the #1 pick to Michigan instead of LSU, but I'm not going to cry about it too much on camera. There we go. We're breaking over that high. We'll see if we continue here, chat. I'm getting wrecked on the downside. Are you shorting this? Alright guys, we need like 200 bucks. I'm gonna start taking like tiny size here. Alright, we got 2 contracts now. I'm not gonna take anything more than this, just because if we start to run up and test highs, it's gonna be trouble for me. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I'm gonna have to cut it. It's too much test of highs, so we just lost 40 bucks, but that's fine. Just broke highs up there. Wow, look at this move, guys. Big rebound back up. Big rebound back up. Wonder if this is just a liquidity grab. That's a big candle here. There we go. Made it a little bit back there. Okay, we're right back where we were. Watching the Q push up, the SPY push up. I'm gonna take a larger position, try to get there now. It's a little risky, but that's okay. Catching a fallen knife here. I only really do this on challenge accounts. At least I only try to do it on challenge accounts. There we go. 3 left, 2 left. I'm gonna get out the rest there. So we made money mostly on that. Yeah, we only need. Did it really give us that bad of a fill? 3 contracts. We'll see if we get a better fill on the ad. There we go. Okay, we'll take that. Now we need 150 bucks. Let's see if we can catch it here. I'm going to add to this now. 6 contracts. There we go. All right, guys, so we are less than $50 away now. We need less than 50 bucks. I'm going to start taking 1 contract positions. Very large pullback. I'll take 2 contract positions actually here. That's a big red candle, so 2. Actually, no, this is actually good enough because I forgot. Top Step will let me get this close. So we made $1,500. We're there in this one. So we don't have to trade this anymore. So actually we're there. If I make $1,500 the next day, I'm funded. Just to show you guys that process, because again, that's what this is. Yeah, so I forgot about that. So I could make $1,450 one day and $1,550 the next. So I'm going to keep it there. Yeah, I would trade micros personally, but everybody's different. I'm not an investment professional. So do not copy me. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Again, join our Discord. It's completely free. It doesn't cost a penny. Great way to help support the channel. No PDT rule when we're day trading futures. But yeah, join our Discord. Doesn't cost anything. Like, we don't charge for anything. Everything. Like, I tried to create I created beginner trading years ago because I wanted a one-stop shop where I didn't claim to be an expert. If I lose, it's not the end of the world. Like, you know how much pressure it is to tell people how great you are at day trading, right? And I would rather just be real and tell people I suck. And then if I do better than that, cool. But like, that way, nobody can get mad if I lose. Nobody can get mad if I trade off stream. Because again, I'm not even claiming to be good. And I think it's important, you know, and again, it really does go to show, like, we're up to over 150,000 subscribers. We have millions and millions of views for this channel. It really goes to show that, like, you can tell people you have no idea what you're talking about and still grow, you know? And I think that's a good thing, right? Like, I think it's important to be honest. Do you think we could see a rate hike next year? I don't think it's the base case, but I think it's possible. Yeah, we're in a really choppy range though, chat. So I would just be careful here. Yeah, so I don't think it's the base case, but I think it's possible. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, okay? I love y'all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Y'all have a good, safe weekend. We'll be back next week. Market's going to be really slow next week. We'll see what kind of chaos we get for the rest of the day. But again, we broke 152,000 subscribers today, so I just want to say thanks so much. I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. Listen, everything we do here is free. I don't claim to be good. Of course, I trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I might lose when y'all aren't around. Like, that's just kind of how it goes in markets. But if you want a one-stop shop where we cover all the big earnings reports, all the big economic reports, all the big CPI, inflation data, PCE, jobless claims, unemployment filings, GDP data, Jerome Powell, FOMC meetings, we cover it all. We live stream the entire events. And we're just a reliable place if you want to watch what's going on economics-wise as well as market-wise. We cover it all. We trade live every day. Great way to learn and watch the markets. And so again, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Thanks again for all the subs we got. And y'all be safe. We'll see you guys next week. And y'all be good. remember, the market can do anything today. Big range, choppy. Heading towards the end of the day today, it is triple witching day, so we might get kind of crazy volatility. We might not. But just remember, we might, right? And so just be careful, guys. Y'all be good. Have a great, safe, happy holiday weekend. And I'll see you guys early next week for the holiday trading sessions. Good luck, guys.